Welcome everyone to the Island Life Podcast, where we journey onto the island of discovery to relive some of the best and worst moments of Survivor. My name is Will, an experienced Survivor fan, 47 seasons deep, and I will be your guide. And joining us on this adventure is our rising Survivor fan. With 10 seasons under her belt, I give you Anne.
Hello. Good to be back.
Welcome back. And so now we are in we're really entrenched in the merge. We even got a normal vote. Everybody was voting, which I like to see.
Crazy.
It's it's a little disappointing that I have to blindly hope for this, but that's where we're at.
Yeah. As I say, I like more people voting. It's more chaos, more things going on. It's definitely more fun when there's more people involved.
You don't want every single vote to be like that. But I just want just a taste of non-traditional votes so that they feel special. But still almost every other one is everybody's voting. And with the mysterious, of course, somebody might have the idol, so I might put a shot in the dark. And that's what we got.
Yeah, not a lot of advantages have been used so far, besides Kyle. But other than that, I haven't seen a whole lot being used this season.
Yeah, well, we can't forget about Mitch using his
Right.
What did he use? Block a vote?
Yes.
Say. So we've gotten them. Technically, I don't think we haven't had a lot like an advantage used every week, but it does feel like a new idol or advantage is being introduced, or I should say, opportunity for an advantage. Because obviously, some people just lost their vote instead of getting an advantage.
I hate those.
And there's still all of it is good in moderation, but it's all here at the same time, and all a lot of them. So that's the only thing. But we got a pretty exciting episode, and some real fireworks are being set up for the future, in part because of the advantages and the idols. But we'll get to that first. For this episode, the main attraction was David. Who I'm curious, do you class this similar to a lot of the other people in the season in terms of self-destructing, or did this one feel different?
I definitely see it as self-destructing. I feel like this is one of those plays where he read the room in terms of he saw what's going on with Kyle and Kamilla. He knew it, he read it, but he did not go about this in the best social way, where it ended up falling it upon him and then everything just went down. I feel like if David didn't crash out so badly this episode, it would have turned differently. But because of how he acted, it's just you can tell that if he had a better social game per se, it wouldn't have act like this. It wouldn't have been like this. I think he destroyed himself this episode. I mean, even the last episode, I kind of saw it though. The last episode, he was very paranoid. He was very into taking out Kamilla and being like, "What's going on with you, Kyle?" He was too out there with his thing, which I guess correlates with his thing of being I want to be an honest game and stuff, but at the same time, I'm like, David, please, can you hide the suspicion? Can you hide a little bit, please?
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird case where strategically he was on the money. Even part of the social game, he was on the money because he was able to read from social interactions that something was fishy about Kyle. And you're right, it was really a 2-episode arc for the most part, together that led to his demise. But half good social game because he read that there's something going on, but then half bad socially. He couldn't convince people to see things the same way he did, or even if they did, to then act act the way he did. And I guess he was done in by his own uh like Cena, like hustle, loyalty, respect mindset, because he's in a super old school, we're gonna stick together, we're gonna trust each other group. And even though really it's Kyle doing the dangerous thing by being untrustworthy in this group, but the first person to look like they're going against their own is David. So now it's David getting the heat of going against the group that's supposed to be all about trust.
The trust is not there. I mean, even the beginning, when they got back, David was trying to explain why, like, they were trying to vote for Kamilla, and Kamilla literally was like, "You're a bad liar." Like, she just straight up was like, "You're not a good liar." Like, I know what's going on. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen someone so direct after." Usually it's like the usual, like, "Oh, it's okay. I understand," or like, "I get it." Camilla was like, "Nope, I'm not holding back now." Back-to-back episodes, Camilla was like, "David, you're my number 1 op."
Yeah, I know. And it felt like a reckless thing for Camilla to do. Like, no need to can give someone more of a reason to be against you. But intentional or not, I think that worked out because it pushed David further off the edge of knowing that Camilla's definitely against him. And he suspects that Kyle's with Kamilla, so therefore Kyle's against him. It kind of just fed into his paranoia. I mean, his paranoia is correct, so I don't know if it's paranoia at this point. But he just can't get enough other people to see it the way he saw.
Yeah, it's so sad because it just feels like David just screaming at an empty room. Like this no one's listening. And everyone's just like, why is David thinking like that? And then me like, yo, I don't want to play with someone like him because he's acting this way. Let's take him out. Like everyone's more into taking out. Even his own people are like, you know what? I don't know what's going on with him anymore. I can't trust him. I can't trust him playing anymore. And take him out. And it's sad to see because he is right. He just didn't go about it the right way. So I feel bad. I do feel bad for our milk guy.
Hmm. I guess it also is a symptom of not having a true number one, because his enemies do. That's Kyle and Camilla, and then his allies do because Eva and Joe are clearly a tight duo. But he himself doesn't have that one person who would stand by him no matter what and kind of back him in this. So instead, we see out of nowhere Mary popped up, right? Suddenly Mary's hanging out with David. So he's able to find someone new, but that person's also new to the alliance. So like Mary's never going to have a lot of uh leverage against the rest of them. So, and maybe Shaheen, but I mean, it wasn't really part that either. Like
No.
it has turned out that Shaheen is closer to his tribe mate, Joe, and closer to Kyle, who was not his tribe, who in fact was against him a number of episodes ago. So this is unfortunately like without ally. Like, do you think he should have done nothing? Because it's so hard. Like you are certain in your mind there are people working against you. To do nothing feels crazy.
I think doing nothing would be crazy, but at the same time, he is the biggest, like, threat out of any like, he should know that the moment he does not get, like, win immunity, he's on the plate, so I wouldn't be so fast to, like, point my fingers out, but I also get why he wanna make moves. I'm just more, like, thinking, like, "Why Camilla?" Like, I'm like, "Are we blind? Like, did you not see that?" Like, do they not know? I'm still confused why Joe and Shaheen don't see that Kyle and Camilla are close. Like, did we forget about the whole vote when they all voted together and are we still believing Camilla's like acting? I mean, Camilla, you're acting great. Like, queen, love you for that. But it's also like, come on, guys. Like, come on. I know that I know I feel like am I missing something where they don't like where we see and they don't see like, it's easier when you're, like, on TV watching it versus when you're in the show and you're like, "Oh, I didn't see that coming." But I'm just so frustrated with everyone else that they can't see that Kyle and Camilla are together. And then for doing that, why would you tell your closest person that you're going to take out their closest person? Especially when you see Shaheen want to work on that. I thought Shaheen was part of your part 5. Like, what, by doing that, you're putting a target on your back. So, like, why didn't you go for like Mitch? Why didn't we go for Star? I don't like, not that I want them to go out, but it's like, why don't you suggest them before you head for the other ones?
I see. Okay, because ultimately,
I think,
like
like,
that's where
yeah,
they end up, right? Like they
yeah,
when it's all said and done, they do target. They still want to target Kamilla, but they actually target
yeah. They should
Mitch.
have done it originally, or at least like David should have just done it, like on point at the beginning. It's just they form such a like quote unquote honest tight bond, but at the same time, it's very superficial. Like their only reason why they're tight is because they're all the quote unquote meat shields, the strong ones, the honest ones, the ones that want to play an honest game. And
Mhm.
that's it. That's all they have for one another. Versus, Kamilla and Kyle has this bond of they share a background together, kind of, and they've been together for a while. And then, Joe and Eva, we all know. Shaheen, I get a little worried with because I think Shaheen just kind of just flapping around a little bit. Um, where I see Shaheen getting close to Kyle and Kamilla, but also with Joe, but also not as tight. He's kind of like the fifth wheel in this situation. If anything, David's closest person, ironically, is Mary, which comes up really interestingly because Mary, how did that even happen? Like, I feel like, did the edit cut everything about Mary and David? Because this is the most unnatural relationship I've seen. But I think it's because I missed a lot, or we missed a lot, and we didn't see how they develop from, like, they never share the tribe together, right? And then wait, did they? When they merge?
I
They
believe they were on the
they were a
same
same
switched
switch
tribe.
tribe. But it's like I didn't
I'll
even
I'll
see
confirm that
anything
for you in a
from
bit.
there. They weren't even close or anything. I don't know. Like, did you see that they were gonna be close? Like, did you see that David was gonna be like, Mary is my number one, or like the person I trust the most, where if Mary wants Kamilla out, I want Kamilla out. You know what I'm saying? Like, he threw his game for that.
Uh, so first of all, by the way, they were on the same the swap tribe.
Okay,
They were
okay.
both on Logi at post swap. Um, I think where I agree with you is, although David has noticed, or at least has reason to be suspicious, that Kyle is more loyal to Kamilla than he is with the rest of them. Uh, he tries to get the best of both worlds because he could have tried to target Kyle directly, but instead is trying to say, well, if I manipulate things to peer pressure Kyle into voting out Kamilla with us, then even if Kyle was against us, now he has no choice but to be with us. Like, we're going to be his best option. That logic, I think, tracks. Like, if that all played out that way, then it would be more useful. It would be safer for Kyle to stick with them than to suddenly jump somewhere else. But that is a difficult thing to actually execute, as David would find out last episode and this episode. Like, maybe he could have, like, I guess he should have worked with Joe and Eva to persuade them first before even bringing it up. Because you're right, because he's the one who diverts first. It was going to be Chrissy the whole time last episode until he suggested Kamilla instead, and drama ensues. And then he tries it again this episode. But I actually thought there was still a good chance for this to work out for David. I think this is credit to Kyle for playing defense well enough. And it's why I'm not thinking of David the same way I'm thinking of all these other people who totally imploded. I think David was outplayed in the end. His
Yeah.
plan had a chance of success, but Kyle was able to to avoid. He basically last episode it was tenuous at times and it was dangerous, but he bought time until this episode. This episode, I don't think there was going to be a way for him to avoid it being Kamilla without actually turning things on David, which is what happened. The only question would be like target David directly or target Mary, the same way that Camilla's getting targeted, and targeting David was just easier.
Ugh, it's just so sad seeing it. Even though I feel like even though it was obvious they were the moment David like doesn't win immunity, he's gonna leave. I didn't think he'll leave so soon. It's bittersweet to see. And he, it's so sad to see like him being right and then just nobody believing him. Like he's just being fully gaslighted out of it. And then there's Eva being like, I don't understand why you're attacking my friends or why are my friends attacking my friends? And I'm like, Eva, please, please. I'm begging. But it seems like everybody is just as oblivious and still oblivious. Like, I don't know if I'm excited or upset that Kyle and Kamilla keeps on getting away with it.
I'm I've I'm enjoying it. Like this, it feels like something that it really shouldn't have worked this long. Like my impression is that if you recall, so when the tribes were still split, there ends up being a big like split and swapped. There was a big tribal council. Kamilla and Kyle are dead to rights, but they're able to, I think they use the extra vote. They're able to defend themselves and vote out Thomas, which leaves them two, Joe and Shaheen. It seems like those four, and there was that moment when they were all kind of spilling their hearts to each other, where they all bonded very closely. And I think what's happened is that Shaheen and Joe really, really liked Kyle in that moment. And so they're like, well, we know Kyle is friends with Kamilla, but we think that Kyle has decided to align himself with us. And obviously, he wouldn't want to vote out Kamilla. He's friends with her, and we don't need to vote her out. She's the same as voting out Mitch or Star or anybody else. Uh, so I think that's what happened. I think they've somehow the Kamilla and Kyle been able to conceal that they're actually each other's number one. Like they obviously are not concealing that they're friends and friendly. They like each other, but people don't think that they are directing the game, and it really has felt that way. I just saw a stat today that those two have voted correctly every single tribal they've been to.
That's crazy. That's hard. I mean, in a way, they've been kind of controlling the vote. They've been part of like every vote, and I just feel like I don't know what's gonna happen next. But with Kamilla and Kyle playing together, but Kamilla being so under the radar, she keeps talking into tribal. She keeps on talking about like the jury, especially to make a jab of David because basically saying that David is not doing well with jury management, which is a very interesting thing to just pull out during tribal. It's like a threat in a way, being like, well, if you're doing this, you're really bad at like if I'm in the jury, I'm not voting for you. I literally won't. And that's like a fine line to be on, because that person could be scared versus like, all right, whatever, get you out. It's either you or me, brother. Like, but Kamilla keeps mentioning about jury management, and I wonder, has she done anything in terms of if it was her and Kyle in the final three? I feel like everybody would just pick Kyle, because everything that they have done has been more Kyle than doing it versus she's been just listening to Kyle's idea or giving maybe a idea or two, but then Kyle's the one that make it happen and maybe Kamilla say a word to him. So I'm just curious if in her game or with his game too is to take each other out before final three.
Lately, the trend has been if a tight two actually makes it that far, they do turn on each other. And the question is who's going to strike first. That has been the trend. That being said, we've really seen Kyle's story. We have not seen much of Kamilla. So at the moment, Kyle probably doesn't need to betray Kamilla. as her story right now is similar to his own story, except that he gets to say, I was able to be a double agent successfully, and he can make that his claim to fame. And
Yeah.
and everything else is shared between him and Kamilla. However, he's the one who actually risked his neck to be a double agent. So he might be able to. On the other hand, there's always a chance, like if my theory is true, and right now Joe is, for example, Joe's under the impression that, oh yeah, Kyle's 100% with us, and sure, he has people he likes. He likes Kamilla, but he's with us, and he learns it was all a lie. Like, is Kyle dead to him, and he
That's
won't vote for him?
true. There will be no honest game. If it was Joe and Eva in the jury, they're not going to vote for him. That's true.
So, if that happens, maybe it's Kamilla who doesn't need to vote out Kyle, because she can just let everyone be mad at Kyle and reap the rewards. It's an interesting, like I said, usually in the last 10 season, it's from each side of the duo, I got to strike before they strike in terms of betrayal. But maybe this is a case where they both are like, oh yeah, I got him, or I got her in the final. It'll be easy, it'll be cake, and therefore they won't betray each other. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, or it's like, I don't want to betray you, but I'm scared you'll betray me, so I gotta strike before you do. It's not the fact that my original idea was to take you to the end, but now I'm worried that you're gonna take me out, so I'll take you out first. Like, I feel like that could be a thought process too. Um, I just think it's ironic because Chrissy always talks about you can't play an honest game, like, this is gonna happen, blah, 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 and then she's right. Literally, I feel like Chrissy's speech, as much as we reamed her out for it, it has caused a revolution. It has caused, in terms of, I think next episode, like, as we see, where they're gonna be like, well, let's take out the big guys, one's out, let's slowly, just one at a time. Joe, Eva, Kyle, bam, 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 let's take them, a shot, let's take them all out. And I don't think they would have thought of it until, like, Chrissy is like, it's not fair this season, like, we should just take those guys out. And then, and also, like, come on, it's Survivor, no one's gonna play an honest game, you sillies. And it's true. It is Survivor. Like, there's no way, like, honestly speaking, I don't think anyone can play a true honest game in a game of Survivor. And if you do, you're not going to win. You're not going to make it far. Even David lied. What is honest in the end of the day?
That's the other thing. Going back to David, he in his panic, he hurt his future prospects in the game too, because now he's scheming against his own alliance. So even if he had survived this and gone on, like, this is going to be a black stain for him. He would have to not fall into the Lillian trap, and if he made it to the end, he would have had to throw away that whole on honesty and loyalty, because if he tried to use it, he would just be totally killed at final tribal. So it depends how that went, but in the end, I guess we'll break down how this kind of happens. So after the immunity challenge, and after some big moments, the biggest might have been David tries to get Joe on his side, but the damage is kind of done. He's hurt his own image in Joe's eyes, and like, Kyle's been feeding things into Joe too to sow doubt. So David goes to Joe, and as part of his pitch, he, for some reason, kind of just throws out there, like last week was tough, and even you, man, you went back on your word. And you could just see on Joe's face, like, he stopped listening to, like, anything David was saying.
Yeah, it was just fire in his eyes. He's just like, what did he say? Like, did he just call me a liar?
Yeah.
That's basically what happened.
I think we never see David explain himself. I believe what David was trying to say is, like, we were going to vote one way, but in the end, we changed our mind, and he's putting that on Joe, because Joe comes across as the leader. So, like, if Joe had not changed his mind, then it wouldn't have happened. No one else would have changed their mind.
That's such a bold thing to say.
Therefore, you, Joe, you went against your word. You didn't stick with the original plan.
Yeah, that's such a bold thing to say. I think that's a very bold thing to say, especially like if you knew Joe, you would know that he would be upset or like baffled, like that you even say that. Like, how dare you say that I am a liar? How dare you say that I go back on my word? Like, okay, if you want me to go back on my word, I'll show you I'll go back on my word, and this is it. I'm gonna vote you tonight. So I think that didn't help out. Again, he doesn't have a strong like person. They call it strong five. They ain't that tight. And with that saying that doesn't make it better. So he really it's just tough to see.
Joe says that he interprets that as you, David, are trying to manipulate me. You know how much I care about this. You're hoping that in an effort to make it up to you or show that I don't go back on word, that I'm going to vote with you tonight. And Joe doesn't like this. And maybe, I don't really know if that's what David was going for. That could have been part of it. But this really hurts. And ultimately, even Kyle will connect with Joe, and Kyle will go back into his upbringing and how he's been arrested before, and open up with Joe. And Joe obviously like really appreciates it if you're honest about your past, if you really open up, which is funny because Kyle really does. I mean, maybe it was a little genuine, but it was also, how am I going to connect with Joe? This is what he'll appreciate. And in a way, that's what David was doing too, but David was a little more like, I don't know how to describe it. Like it has a negative connotation to when David did it, where he's trying to
Yeah.
manipulate. Where manipulate, it's like a negative reinforcement versus positive reinforcement. Like David is manipulating Joe by making him feel guilty, whereas Kyle is manipulating Joe by making him uh feel touched by like a personal story.
Yeah, and it worked. He's smart for that. It worked. It got him feeling like, oh man, like he was saying like he appreciate that you opened up to me. I feel like in this game, you got to open up in the beginning, but then you open up a little bit more later. You got to you can't just like unravel and open up your onion. You got to slowly peel the layers by layer. And on a pivotal moment, you really pull in the big layers. So much that they could cry like an onion. So like, I feel like David
That's
has
a good
showed his
point.
biggest story already. I already know you.
Yep. Yep.
How else are you going to open up to me? That's it. Your biggest thing is you live in a trailer and you're about to propose to your ex-girlfriend. Like, I need more, man. I need more. And I think David just opened it all up, and then that was it. And then people forget about that. I know these days blur, and you think about the most recent stuff and you're like, "Oh man, I'm tight with this guy cuz he just opened up to me today."
That's a great point. That's a great point, because imagine David when he had his sob. We lovingly call these sob stories when we find out about the characters. So David sob story, instead of giving everything, it was just, always been tight on money. I live in a trailer near my dad's place. Like, this would be life-changing money. And that's all he said. And then here, at his most desperate moment, he can talk to Joe one-on-one, like, hey, I know I've been acting weird, man, but here's why. Like, it's all about this girl. Like, we went through, it was been rough for us. Like, this is gonna mean so much. I've just been thinking of her every night. Like, by revealing
Yes.
that afterwards, I mean, that is basically what Kyle did.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I don't know if Kyle revealed anything else beforehand, or if this was like the first thing he ever told Joe. But Kyle uses his sob story as an excuse. Like, I understand. I acknowledge I acted weird. I would understand if you doubted me, if you thought I was suspicious. But this is why I was acting this way and opening up. And he gives them his reason, and it works. I mean, the only thing, of course, like, he can't do that again now. He's now, unless he has another part of the story, he's used that story at this point. But hey, good time to use it.
Yeah, very good time. He executed it great and it worked out on Joe easily. Now Joe's back on Kyle's side, and whenever David's going against Kyle, it's basically going against Joe, and going against Joe, go against Eva, which is now we're talking on the entire crew. So this group of 5 is really getting less more like a group of 4 versus David.
And that leads to after the post challenge. So on one half is the people who are on the reward of the challenge, which is Joe, Eva, Mitch, and Shaheen. And now this could have been the catalyst for any of this happening, period. Mitch is the first person to out loud and in public say, like, we should vote for David. And now, with somebody else saying it first, Shaheen feels comfortable. He can be like, yeah, let's do it. Even Joe and Eva now, okay, not that they're convinced yet, but okay, there are other people already saying it. It's not like we are the ones coming up with the idea. We're not going to be blamed necessarily. And obviously, back at camp, the other half, that's what Kyle and Kamilla want to do anyway. And that just leaves David and Mary. It's funny, they actually still want Kamilla. They decide it's too dangerous because they think Shaheen could have an idol. And if Shaheen has an idol, and Shaheen now knows that they were going to target Kamilla last vote, he might give that idol to Kamilla this vote. Therefore, we can't vote for Kamilla. We'll vote for Mitch. It's the easy vote, whatever. They actually tell Star to do that too. And she does. So at Tribal, David, Mary, and Star vote for David. They thought they would get the rest of their alliance to vote with them, but unfortunately, the rest of their alliance has turned on him, and everybody else votes for David, and we lose Mr. David, who will not go home.
Milkman.
The milkman will not go home with $1 million.
And per the post interview, he does not. His girlfriend, or his ex-girlfriend, stayed. His ex-girlfriend. Oof. I know.
Wow.
I know. I'm
bad.
saddened because I feel bad for him because he does seem like a good guy. But unfortunately, this whole thing just unraveled. He unraveled so badly that it was hard to watch. It was very hard to watch. And I wish I could, it just wanted him to stop crashing out. But it was he couldn't go backwards anymore. It was over. And but I would like to go back a little bit. I love the part where Star goes up to David and Mary and is like, let's vote Shaheen. And then they say, no, I would love to. But and then Star didn't even she's like, all right, cool. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. Cool stuff. Let's it was just so funny. Like, Star has these star moments in this season that I am loving. The one part of her learning to swim from Mitch, that was incredible. And as a person that can't swim myself, it is awesome to see someone that can't swim on Survivor. Like, that's awesome.
I acknowledge it was a fun moment. Learn to swim before you go on Survivor. You're just putting yourself behind unless
out
your
of the
plan
island talk, please learn to swim before you come back into the island.
unless your plan is to make it to Final Tribal and part of your speech is, I was so brave, I came on without knowing how to swim, and even without that, I still beat all of you. So unless that's your plan,
oh my goodness,
you really should yeah. Actually, to her credit, it sounded like she said she practiced enough to at least not be terrified during water challenges. But officially, she can't if it was a race,
that's
she
scary.
Can't beat anybody in a race.
That is so scary to me. I would not do that. That's not, if I can't swim, I won't go to Survivor, man. I'm not doing it. You can't make me jump in those water and do those water stuff. But Star has those banger moments, like when also during Tribal where she's talking about how Kamilla was basically what Kamilla is saying. If she makes it to jury, she's not voting for you, David. It's so funny.
Yes. Star is a shining beacon of entertainment right now.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about what Rachel said last week on the podcast, plug for our Survivor expert from the previous episode.
Yes.
About people coming up with all these theories of why the edit has allowed Star to be just a great presence, despite her seemingly not being involved in any more strategy. Not for lack of trying, but she appears to be irrelevant for what's been happening on the show lately. And I gotta say, I'm still puzzled. I don't know why. I technically I do prefer this because usually what happens is if you're not going to be important, then you just disappear until you get voted out. Actually, and you'll disappear and then you'll reappear for your last episode and then get voted out. So I mean, that's not what they do with Star. So that's interesting.
I guess that's good. Yeah, that's true.
Um,
But it's not just Star though. Like Mitch, Mary, I don't really see them. If you told me it is final six right now, I'll believe you because it felt like we were not. These people were just hanging on the beach, and I feel like, is it the edits? Is it true? But like, I'm like, what is going on right now?
but Mitch and Mary are part of the story. Mitch has been the like he was important because he's the safe vote, and in this episode he defends himself and throws out David. That triggers everything else to happen. And Mary is the extra person that's giving David the confidence to even try to get Kamilla at all. Uh, but Star, like I said, you said it. She tried to start a storyline and got shut down immediately, and then she just walked away. But she's still like smiling all the time. She's still at tribal. She's making everyone laugh. I think I'm gonna feel so annoyed if this comes back to bite me. But regarding our winners picks, the time has come that it doesn't seem like Star has the social capital to persuade enough people to vote for her in the end. It would take a meteoric rise, like starting next week. Like Star would have to be the leader of a new alliance and somehow like
It could
dominate the rest of the
happen.
game.
I it could happen next week, next episode. I think I said this last episode. This episode we're talking about was pivotal in terms of it's going to change things. And I think it did. I think taking David out, fracturing this five alliance is going to change things from now on that everything is out of the window. Like Star, Mitch, Mary, Kamilla, plus minus Kyle, because Kyle's like in the in between, can make big changes, can make big things happen. So I am so curious because I want to see you take your word back, Will. I hope Star's gonna do something staringly crazy, like staringly crazy good, and you're gonna be like, wow, this is
I mean,
why the edits have been hiding her away, is to make things less obvious.
see, then I would be mad at the edit for not leading us up to
Wait,
this,
wait,
right?
wait a
Giving
minute.
us the breadcrumbs.
Yes.
Uh but it's not just talk because officially, per the rules of our winner's pick, I've decided that Star is no longer my winner pick. I must now choose someone else, and I can never go back to Star if I do this.
All right.
And
Who is it now?
so my thoughts are going down the list. Mary similarly does not give me any hope for this.
Oh,
Mitch, Mitch, it's possible like if people like him, perhaps, but and maybe he's inspired, like he feels like he got rid of David. It's possible. He is the one who said it, so from his perspective, he just pulled off an incredible blindside. Maybe, but obviously everything screams Kyle because he's our most popular person. The danger there is, of course, if when favor turns against him, he's the first person to be targeted. So I think it's smart to go with someone who's not the first target, and that person will be Shaheen. I think if Shaheen, if there's a war and the big players get taken out, Shaheen will be savvy enough to take advantage, and he's been in the know enough to be at tribal to talk about like this crazy moment where David would go home and other things that will happen going forward and all that stuff. My
you
new
know
winner
what?
pick
I like it.
is Shaheen.
I do that's a good one. I do like Shaheen. Actually, speaking of edits and Shaheen, my question is there is a part of the edit where they were making it seem like Shaheen was sprinkling things in regards to David. You know, little sprinkles. Do you credit that for Shaheen? Or do you credit more like, it wasn't, it just happened to work out like that?
I I mean, obviously he did do it because it's on camera. So
Mhm.
yes, I I think enough went wrong for David that this episode would have played out this way anyway. But
without the without
yeah,
Shaheen.
but I like that he wasn't just lounging on the beach doing nothing. I like that he had a preference. He wanted a player gone, but did not put himself in danger at this time by actively saying it until he felt it was safe to do so, which was after the drama of the previous episode and after the drama of the first half of this episode and after somebody else actually says his name first, then he did it. So and hey, I mean, this it's risky that this could be a red herring because this is a very old school type of edit. So we'll see. But hey, they did take the time to show him doing all this stuff as if to credit him for making it happen, which would make sense if he's the winner.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
like I said, that is a pretty old school way to tease a winner. Like lately, it's kind of been like a shocking out of nowhere in the like third to last episode, and that person wins.
Yeah, I'm curious to see because like that edit, I love those edits. Like I actually really like the especially when it's made right. I don't like it when it shows a sprinkle and then it turns out it's so bad, like the Rome edit, where it's like, oh my god, nobody's gonna believe you. Everyone's gonna
Oh,
you're gonna be called out so fast. But I like the ones that are you're like, oh my gosh, this entire time, like he's been kind of saying all these things slowly and it's working. That is a good edit. That makes you feel like in like Naruto when Naruto wins or something against like in the tuning exam. It's like the underdog is winning. That's what I feel. That same surge of serotonin. So I'm excited to see who's gonna win on that. But like I'm just it's also interesting to see Joe and like speaking of like Joe and Eva, but also seeing how Eva's gonna use her advantages because this episode she doesn't not just have the idol, but from the last episode, from her little scroll in the chips, she got another advantage.
that's right. So we got two things to talk about. First, actually, no, three things to talk about. First of all, the the ed the pre-advantage of being able to go on a journey in the middle of the night, sneak out of camp, basically. So this has happened many times over the years in different forms. As something to watch on TV, how did you like the like secret ops? I gotta sneak out at night and go on an adventure.
Oh, I love it. I like the sneak out effect, you know? Like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna do it? Where is this? Is everyone asleep still? Like that's hard. It sounds easier than it is because everyone's asleep, but like no one like the camera's on. I'm assuming the camera's not always on when they're asleep. So you'll as someone that's sleeping like near them, they'll be like, what's going on? Like, what's the ruffling? You know? In my mind, I'm so bad at sneaking, like, I would be so stupid that I'll be like, like, "Oh, I really gotta poo, guys. I really gotta poo," and run out, but, like,
Okay.
try to go to my advantage. But I will literally announce because I don't know what to do.
Funny enough, uh, often this goes off without a hitch. This whole drama of not just sneaking out of your camp, but sometimes it's a sneak into another tribe's camp.
What?
There's a whole lot of cases like it's tense, it's dramatic, but they do it. Yep, not caught. And it's like, and it started to make me like, is this actually easy? Because I assume it's not easy, but everyone's so successful. So for I can tell you, this is a case that I think is less common than
Oh.
the alternative, where she gets caught. Now she isn't called out on it, but she is noticed by Shaheen.
Yes, and I love how Shaheen sees it. I thought he was gonna go follow her and be like, "What are you doing? What's going on?" Because I wanna he wants to know the tea, what's going on, because
Mm-hmm.
when she comes back, maybe she lies to me and be like, "Oh, I actually lost my vote," or I lost an advantage, you know? But Shahid instead wakes up Joe and be like, "I just saw Eva leave." And instead of like Joe being like, "What, really? Like she didn't tell me." Joe was so confident with which I love. Joe was so confident with their relationship that he was like, "I'm gonna go back to bed. I know she's gonna tell me the next morning," which is amazing. But it's also so funny because like Shaheem was just like on over Joe, like Joe, and then like Joe just opens his eyes, like what's going on?
Yeah, that's not what I expect to happen. I'm sleeping already. I'm already sleeping uncomfortably in this island, and then suddenly pitch black, someone's touching me. Yeah,
I would gasp. I might scream and wake up everyone, and now everyone knows Eva's missing.
no. So let's put a pin in Joe's reaction. We'll get back to it in a second. So now Eva leaves camp at night, goes to now this is not, I guess it makes sense to light it up somehow, but she's like a torch lit whole area of like 8 torches or something. I hope this is very far away, or else like I feel like it would be noticeable for someone looking in that direction.
Oh, for sure.
Uh, and she ends up at a challenge, similar to when you go on a journey. There's a challenge, and this, in a way, is its own journey. And it turns out now this format is new, where you show up, and the piece of paper says, "Just by being here, you've earned an extra vote. You can walk away right now with your extra vote, or you can gamble that extra vote in exchange for the chance at another advantage, which would turn out to be the safety without power advantage." Usually what we've seen lately is like you can have this, or you can risk your vote to get something else. But this is actually, it's kind of like house money. Like, you already have something you didn't have before. All you have to do is risk that something to play. And even if you lose, all you lose is the brand new toy you got, but you haven't actually lost your vote or anything. That was interesting.
Yeah, do you like it more, or what are your thoughts about it? Do you like it or no?
I like it because I think what has happened is, I think that people just wouldn't play if it was to risk your vote. Be like, nah, it's too
Yeah.
dangerous. And I want to. I love the gambling with that. Like, in fact, and usually you root against the person who gambles, right? Because it's like you want it to backfire. So I like the situation. Now I wonder how far this would go for me to still like it. Because remember, she's only there because she was on the previous reward. Now granted, I guess she won that challenge, right? So she earned
She
the
did. She did
reward.
win that challenge, yeah.
But she's on a reward that some other people were just picked to go on. And then she's going to this thing, and she's gaining something just by showing up. Like, even if she had been caught, and even if Shaheen had followed her, she would still have this extra vote, regardless of anything else. So it is a little strange, but I guess, like, let's say she had to play a game to get the extra vote in the first place, and if she lost that game, nothing would happen. I guess you wouldn't like that, right? Like, why even do this just to play a game, a chance to maybe get an advantage or not? So ultimately I enjoyed what I saw.
Yeah, I agree. I think to make it more rewardable, and I think that it's worthwhile. I think I agree with you 1,000%. It's more fun when they do it too. But Eva does hold off and doesn't like keep going. Would you have kept going?
No, actually, I think. Well, actually, let's think about this from Eva's perspective. So Eva is in a strong. She hopes 5-person alliance. It wouldn't last long, but that's what she's hoping. So that's a power position, and already has an idol, a public one, granted, but she has an idol. So first of all, for the extra vote, right now, that's not needed when you believe in your group of 5. So it makes sense to gamble that. Safety without power, as a reminder, is you with this advantage at any point during tribal council before the vote, you can reveal to everybody you have this advantage, and then you leave tribal immediately. Thus, you can't be voted out because you're not there, but you can't help vote someone else out. We saw Rachel's use of this work out real well for her last season.
Yeah.
So now this, I think this is better than the extra vote because this is guaranteed. This is just immunity, is basically what it is. Whereas the extra vote can't, like, you're it's offensive instead of defensive, but it's only gonna help if the numbers are laid out the right way. Like if you're like if everybody's against you, then an extra vote isn't gonna help. Now, if it's like a tight battle between two groups, then yes, then the extra vote will help for sure.
Yeah, I actually in the beginning thought I'd rather have 2 extra votes than a safe without power, especially since I feel like I have a strong 5, and with extra votes, it would be nice to use for in the future, but I'm also, like, thinking because when she leaves, she has no vote, so she can't protect Joe or her ally. Her vote doesn't matter anymore, so there's less number. So I just wonder when is she gonna use that? Maybe
Then
when
maybe she
Joe is
never has
safe
to.
and
But
she's safe, like, she wants to be safe? I don't know.
yeah, well, imagine this. So, like, if they both survive until I don't know, there's 6 people, so that's 2 votes from now, and maybe if one of them wins immunity, but like at this point, people are against them. Like, finally, they want to get out the people with uh a who are a tight two. If everyone turns on them, or not really turns them, but they have the confidence to go against them. And they also, or maybe it's not that they want immunity, it's just that people think she's going to use the idol, so they want to flush the idol. Well, she can give, they don't know about this, so she could give the idol to Joe and then just leave. So
Oh,
people assume
yes.
Joe will use the idol, and then Joe might not use the idol, and there's some cool stuff. The trouble is what would happen afterwards. Like, she tells her 4 people about it, and by the way, that those 4 people are Joe, Kyle, and Shaheen. So funny enough,
Mhm.
like, she's told a potential future enemy, Kyle.
Yeah.
Also does not tell David, which was a huge red flag. We probably should have seen during the episode that David was in grave danger.
Not even part of the squad to know.
Um, and in fact, now that I'm you asked me if I would risk all these advantages to keep going. I'm just talking through it now, and she at that moment was in such a good position. I think I would risk it again to go for the full powered immunity idol, because now you can, like, now you she could even try, like, she could have even kept it a secret too. She could have kept one immunity idol as the public one, use it one day, and then people don't know that she has this other one. I mean, that would be amazing. And
That
if
would
she
be so
doesn't get it,
smart.
no harm done. I still have my regular vote, and I still have this idol, and I'm in the power 5. So I think in her shoes, I would have risked it. In the aftermath of the shattering of the power 5, I think it will turn out to have been the correct move to stop at the safety without power. But in the moment, I think the correct move, knowing, like, in her shoes, knowing what she thinks she knows, to risk it again.
I do agree with what you said about her not taking I mean, I think it'll be really cool if she had 2 idols. I think that would be killer if she just flushed out the first one, make it seem like she used it, or have everyone vote for her, or make it seem like people are gonna vote for her, only for it to be like Kamilla or something. Like, that would be killer move. That should have been used this week if they were all together, but unfortunately, the squad was not together this week. But I was wondering, has anybody ever had more than, like, 2 idols or 3 idols in the past in Survivor history?
Yes, it is true.
3 or 2? Or, like, what's, like, the most someone's ever had?
Uh, oof. This is when we need Rachel for this. Has someone had more than 2 idols simultaneously? I don't remember someone holding 3 idols. Now, there's been 3 or more idols used in the same tribal council, or just like things that
Wow.
make you immune. And people have had, like, once the dust has settled, a player has had possession of 3 idols over the time, but usually it's like I used one and then I got another one and I used one, I got another one. Or
Mm.
it could be like I'm wearing the immunity necklace and also I have 2 immunity idols that I could choose to use. Like the individual immunity necklace. But I don't think someone's had 3 actual immunity idols all in their possession all at the same time.
Mm. That would be crazy to see. I
Like
would
usually
like
there
that.
just isn't enough. Well, not that there's not enough, but like for a long time, like right now we're in the era of the beware advantage that leads to an idol. And that, I mean, that's recent. So usually there's not like 3 idols at the same time until you get to like more recent history, like the 30s and then now. And then not all of those are always you there's a lot of things working against you for that to happen, but that would be crazy.
Yeah, I feel like I want to see more idols being played or more things being played, I guess. I think kind of putting back to the beginning, I feel like I'm more excited about more things being played out or potential things being played out.
Yeah, I mean, I think I teased this earlier. Now that Eva has even more weapons at her disposal, it does. My prediction is there will be a time when everyone decides it's safe to go after either Eva or Joe, and that is when all of these tools are going to be used.
That could be next episode because I think next episode on the preview, as we saw, they're all gunning. They're thinking Joe's the one. It's Nexus Joe on the block. They're taking the strong ones out now. Now it's going back to OG Survivor.
Yeah, if Joe wins immunity, then that doesn't work because then it's too scary to vote against Eva. So
That's
really,
true.
someone other than them two has to win immunity, or else people will be too scared to go against them.
Yeah, but honestly, I feel like it's gonna be either Joe or like Kyle or something that wins like this week's immunity challenges. It ain't gonna be Mary. I'm sorry, Mary. It's not gonna be Star. I'm sorry, Star. Shaheen does okay, I think, but he's also not like incredible.
Yeah, I suppose not. I mean,
Camilla's not good at it either.
this immunity challenge, which was called nope, that was last week. Hang on, I'll get you the information. The episode was Welcome to the Party, and the
Interesting.
immunity challenge was Crocodile Rock. Probably because like the contraption everyone was holding, like they're holding onto a handle. They need to push up with their arms to move the handle up to. There's like this curved rail that's holding a ball. So you're pushing up this rail against the like a piece of wood that will hold the ball in place. And that's kind of like the jaws, like the long like mouth and jaws of a
I
crocodile.
see. Yes. It looks
It was
harder than it is. People are struggling a little bit.
I mean, I thought it looked pretty hard. I mean, that's just like holding nothing and just holding your arms in front of you like you're flying like a superhero. Like
Yeah.
doing that eventually starts like gets to be tough. So
That's true. It was very
it,
back to back though. I thought Joe was losing for sure.
yeah, this was another showdown between Joe and David. If David had actually won this though, I wonder what would have been done because like I don't know if everyone would want to target Mary. Like it's I think if David wins immunity, obviously Mitch can't pitch David then. I don't know who Mitch it might just be whoever Mitch suggests, otherwise they would just go with the easy vote of Mitch. So it was a unfortunate loss for David. Even though
I
he performed
know.
great. I mean he dominated like most of the other challenges.
Yeah, I feel like he relied on his brute strength and his core 5, but his core 5 was just a superficial core 5. There's nothing else beyond just being like, "Hey, I want to play a honest game." "Oh, me too." "All right, let's do it." Down. Boom. That's it. That was all that they got for themselves, which is kind of unfortunate for him.
Sure. So without David, that leaves us with our final 8. On the surface, you would think it is Joe and Eva and Kyle and Shaheen on one side, and then Mary, Star, Mitch, and Kamilla on the other side. And then that's 4-on-4, so you need someone to flip to break the tie, or some sort of weird split vote. I'm curious if this totally blows up, or if it will generally be voting along those lines. Here's what I think you think. Correct me if I'm wrong. You think that now, with the weakened majority alliance, this will be the opportune moment for Kyle to work to actually vote with Kamilla here, and then, but like publicly. So now them two plus Mary, Star, and Mitch can vote against one of the others. Is that
Yes, that's what I
you think's
think
happening?
would be a great thing for them. I think that might happen if it works out right. Do you not think it's gonna happen?
So I don't have enough confidence in the rest of them.
Oh,
We have seen nothing with all these people that have been in the. I was about to call them the minority alliance, but they don't talk to each other, so they're not an alliance at all, minority or
yeah,
otherwise.
they're just
So so I think they're just gonna go to Joe or Eva and be like, oh yeah, like I'll vote for blah blah blah. Like just tell me who to vote for, and then
Mm.
they're just
Oh,
gonna
I
pick themselves
see.
off.
I see. So you're thinking they're all individually gonna be like, "Hey, I'm useful in terms of I'm a vote," and that's something you would need, and you need numbers. That's what you're going for. I see.
No, yeah, I have no faith in that, because I think there were opportunities as like for many votes in a row for them to get together and try anything, but they like even we laughed at Chrissy, but ultimately she was trying to persuade the people not in the majority to vote against the majority, and no one cared.
Fair.
And that's the case for a bunch of people.
You
So I
know,
don't have
I
faith in them.
I could see Shaheen making moves though. I could see Shaheen like flipping over and like being like, "Hey, I could grab me and Kamilla are tight, Kyle and I are tight. Let's all flip on Joe and Eva." I could see Shaheen doing that.
But I don't think he needs. I mean, that's just right now that weakens Shaheen, because he's with Joe and Eva.
I know, but I feel like he's also gonna be like, well, I'm not gonna beat them if it's like final four. So shouldn't I try to like get them out versus he has a chance against the other guys? I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing out there where Shaheen is in a position where if he wants to, he can potentially make moves. Now, will he? I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like Shaheen sees potential in people and then like tries to recruit them. I think he's gonna see that in Mary and Star and Mitch. That's what my theory is that I could see
And
Shaheen doing that. And that would be
actually,
big moves because basically he is picking the ones that, he's gonna be the leader of the new group and be able to pick out the people. But hey, it's so complicated.
I
People can
think
change their mind.
I think those people would just vote him out. I
No.
have no like like Star, especially Star, disappointed me so much
Oh,
in that
Star.
she has no social capital, and like like usually that means like everyone hates you, but this just means it's not that they hate you, but you can't direct anything. Like there's no alliance that has a reason to go with your plan, and they're not worried about making you mad too.
Yeah.
So that's the case. I mean, Mitch did at least say the name of the person who's voted out tonight, but I mean, he was helped by the fact that this is something they want to do anyway.
Yeah. Actually,
Uh, I don't know. Mary, I don't like. She did well to get herself into this big group, but now I think she's out of the group again. So I
I
don't know.
know Mary is, yeah, it's tough. I saw my friend Sarah, shout out to Sarah, love you so much. She sent me a TikTok about Star. I think it's like an extra scene or something. And it's Star like asking people like who do you see as a final three? And in her confessional, she's like, if you say you're nothing, you don't know yet, or you haven't thought about that, then you're just straight up lying. and don't want to work with me, and don't want to work with you. So it goes into her asking Joe, like rare moments. She's asking Joe, like, who do you see as the last three? And he's like, oh, I haven't thought of it. Like, I'm not too sure. And then she's like, yep, can't work with him or something like that. It's just so funny. And then she like asked another person and they say the same thing. And then like he was like, he failed the test again. Like I think she asked Shaheen. Yeah, Shaheen and Joe, and they both said the same thing almost. Like, I haven't really thought about it that much, it's not so far. And that's like total lie. Like you as a survivor person, you're thinking it every single day. The moment one person's out, you're thinking of it again. You're like reorganizing who are the people that you want to be with to win $1 million. So it's funny.
Once again, like Star knows Survivor clearly. Part of the reason why I aligned to myself with Star in the first place, but she can't do anything with it. She has failed to either A, get herself in some alliance, or get a number one, or be viewed as dangerous, like, ooh, like I don't want to make her mad. Like she could make things happen. Like, and because I think Joe and Eva do have that. Not only are they an alliance, but like, ooh, if I make Eva mad, like I'll feel the wrath of Joe and vice versa. Like I don't want to put myself in a situation. And that helps protect both of them. So yeah, that can be our little bet right now. I think that the people who are currently in the minority, one of them will go home next week, but you think that one of Joe, Eva, Shaheen, and Kyle are going to go home.
Yeah, I don't like it because I love all of them, but I think I'm going to go for that. Yeah.
Well, luckily in our fantasy league, you can actually put your money where your mouth is and vote for those people to go home, and I can vote for the other 4 people to go home. We'll see who wins.
No, you just want me to lose on the fantasy. No, I'm kidding. Oh my gosh. I really hope they stay strong. I hope Joe and Eva stay strong because I really like them. I hope Shaheen and Kyle also stay strong. And actually, Kamilla is on my team too. So I have a pretty strong team for my fantasy. So.
Yeah, well, that's good for you. we'll just oh man. So all right. That was the episode. And I guess that was our future focus as well, which is
yes,
like
that is our future focus.
Those 4 against the minority 4 against the majority 4, who is going to come out on top, or maybe something completely different. Maybe everything will be twisted and there'll be a new breakdown of people. I guess that could happen, but that's not what I think is going to happen.
We'll have to see who comes out to be the star.
I'm gonna look so bad if Star dominates.
And then yes, I actually hope Star does dominate. I think it's become a Reddit meme now. People are like, Star's coming back for season 50, guys. That's why, there's not much scenes of her. It's because Star's coming back for 50. And I'm like, are you guys serious? Or are you guys just memeing right now? I can't tell.
I mean, I wouldn't. I would take it. It would just be kind of weird, but
Star comes back like as a athletic swimmer, like back, and I'm like, I'm back here, I'm swimming. Actually, question: do you think if Star didn't give the idol to Eva, things that would have been different for Star?
The way it's played out, I kind of don't think so. Like she's been so irrelevant. I don't even think people would target her, even though they know she has an idol. They're not at all threatened. She has no alliance, so they would not be worried she would like give the idol to someone else they wanted to give. The only thing that might change is that in this future that you think's gonna happen, if she does try to align herself with people, she can use that as leverage. Be like, oh, join me because I can protect you with the idol. So in that respect, but otherwise, I've been, like I said, so disappointed that she's unable to get things started. It actually, I guess it would also affect people would be less scared to go against Joe and Eva as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which again, I actually think even that would only really take shape kind of now, because this is like I acknowledge this is an opportunity to go against them coming up, but I just think they're too passive and too scared and too ineffective. Like they don't have. 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 Like so much so, I don't even know if Kamilla and Kyle would want to do it. Like really, like they're gonna start an alliance with Mitch and Star. Like that's gonna be your power forward. Like I think they're gonna I think they're gonna stick with this like majority until like really late, until like it only takes one other person. Like if they wait till final five, then they could just team up with one other random person to target Joe or Eva, and then that's 3 against 2, and then you got them.
I'm curious what's gonna be. I mean, the obvious answer is yours, but I'm gonna take the other one. I'm gonna take the underdogs with me and be like, maybe they have a chance still. Maybe it was, as you said, a red herring of them not being on the scenes. Then you kind of forget about them. They feel irrelevant. But then next episode's really gonna show up. You're really gonna know.
Yeah, I guess. But anything else you want to bring up for today's episode, or are we good?
Well, I have a quick little off the island talk.
Okay.
Well, last time I asked, about David, we're going to bring back David, our MILF boy, just for one last time. So pretend you are David's ex-girlfriend. He comes back, grand gesture, I went to Survivor for you, and you don't know if I won or not, You watch this episode, you found out your ex-boyfriend has lost, okay? But the heart, does the heart want what it's want? Would you take David back?
For being in ninth place?
Well, for being no.
No.
What? For the grand gesture?
Like,
You wouldn't
like,
stay in the trailer for the rest of your life
so,
for him?
So if you recall, like I think I answered yes to a similar off the island talk, but in that scenario, he won.
Yes.
He brought back $1 million.
Yes. That was when I wasn't sure.
But here, he got defeated. He came off as a kind of paranoid. I think the edit, it came across to me as like they want us to root for Kyle, so therefore, like he's portrayed as the antagonist here, like the person making all this drama happen. So yeah, no, I don't think because presumably we heard David's side of this story, so presumably there's her side of the story of a reason why they're not together anymore, and I don't think the 9th place in Survivor is enough to overrule that original reason.
Oof. Have you heard like some online rumors?
Nope, I am totally rumor free.
The rumor is, I think allegedly David is seeing someone right now, but it's not the girlfriend that he was talking about, obviously in the show. Some people say it's Mary. What do you think?
Oh, well, okay. Now that is interesting. They were aligned for a few days. For no really well explained TV edit reason, is it possible they were aligned due to being attracted to each other? Is why they were aligned. There is a little evidence for me to buy it. So, given this rumor, should it be revealed to be true, I would not be surprised. But I mean, I don't have any evidence other than a rumor right now, so like technically,
me neither.
I don't believe it yet. But if it were to be true, I'd be like, okay, that checks out.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
It makes sense. Like it's probably easier for another Survivor player to sympathize their situation versus just A, your original partner, or B, just some random person. Because that random person might be interested in you once you're famous, but they wouldn't be interested in you before you're famous. So how could there be someone else that's worthy of there being a rumor about? And that could be someone who already was on the season and therefore got to know him. So I wonder if that also suggests that Mary is eliminated soon, which would maximize the time that they're in Ponderosa with each other.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Forgot about Ponderosa.
So, if if Mary is voted out in the next 2 tribals, then I will further believe this.
You heard it first here.
But yeah, I mean, would you? Is ninth place enough for you to take someone back?
I think it depends on what happened, you know? I think the fact that he aired our dirty laundry out is giving me secondhand embarrassment, so I don't feel like it anymore, you know? That everyone, my future in-laws, my friends are gonna be like, "Oh, okay, so you're with him with the money," or like, "Oh, you're with a guy that drinks a gallon of milk every day." I'll be like, "Ugh, you're right." So, personally, no. Personally, no, I don't think so. I think maybe if he went around this a little differently. Again, we don't know the full story. Is it just money and family? Is that the only reason? I don't know. We don't know. Only him and his ex-girlfriend knows. But I think the fact that he's just saying all this stuff, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that you were just telling national TV that I am a money hungry person. Goodbye. It's over. Actually, it's been over. We're never ever getting back together.
I mean, I agree. I agree. so
But
so
we'll miss
with
you,
with the,
David.
yes. So I mean, maybe we're finally gonna get a different answer. David, if David returns, will you be happy to see him?
You know what? I would be. I'd be down to see David again.
Yay.
Yes, yes. I'm down to see him again because I think he'll come back a better social player if he comes back. I think he would be better at that, and I'm down to see a muscle dude and a social guy.
That's great to hear. It's a very short list of people
I
you
know.
care enough about
I know.
to like seeing again.
I've been saying "nar" to a lot of people. What about you, Will? What are your thoughts about David coming back?
I I don't think he did anything like
Oh,
very
what?
memorable. So like, there's a lot of like his type of character. So I don't think he like super stood out. But maybe there's like maybe there's like the survivor paranoia where like the people who got edited as paranoid all come back for a season and see whose paranoia will win. That would be a cool gimmick. But otherwise, I'm not
That would be
excited
crazy.
if he would return.
Or he would be great for muscle and like brawn and blue beauty. He would be full brawn, muscle,
He
brains, and
definitely
then
would, but I'm just saying we have a lot of
you're
people
like,
to
I
choose
we
from in that
already have that
category.
trope. We don't need another muscle trope here.
Right, like we have like you start with that, but then you want something more, and he didn't really give like Joe. If he comes back,
Ah, yes.
we do have more of his type, but it is a more unique type of like he's the big muscles challenge beast, but also is the super trustworthy loyaltiness, also father figure, had a super tight alliance. So granted, all that said, we have seen that before, but we've just like seen it less than just generic. Like only aspect is challenge beast.
You what? Fair enough. I respect it.
So we'll see. Uh, all right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in for another episode of Island Life. Real excited to see which group, the current minority alliance or the current majority alliance, who will survive. And will I look like a fool in an episode when Star takes over this game? Only time will tell. But until we speak again,